5:30, so I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. So we got nobody to take minutes, I guess I'll take minutes.
Thanks, Kevin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just like
Okay, so roll call, I got.
did you enjoy this in this cool weather?
I did indeed. I was praying for snow.
I know.
And it's James, right, James?
Yes, Cooper, COO,
Okay, pass the minutes out, there he is. And Brad. Want to take over the notes?
I can do that.
There you go.
Oh, so you get a copy of the minutes?
Oh, it wasn't hurt.
I've got some extra copies if,
Oh, okay.
Oh, did you see my email? I went ahead and made the correction
okay,
because that's not the official copy until we sign it, so
okay.
I didn't even think about
I
that
didn't
when
see that.
I sent you the email.
Okay. You want to read off of that email then?
Huh?
Do you want me to read the minutes or
I got them copies passed out, so
Okay.
that's okay.
good enough?
Do you want a copy to look at? Sure. And then we got some extra, everybody got an agenda?
Yes.
Do you need an agenda?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Well, that's why I can get an agenda. I got the minutes, that's about it. Thank you.
So, everybody take a minute to read through the March minutes and see if there's anything that we need to change or edit. I didn't see anything other than what I mentioned to Brad earlier, that there was a typo in the beginning.
My fingers got ahead of my brain.
Yeah.
That happens.
Do we need to read them out loud, or are you okay just read them to yourself? I don't talk very well right now without listening to swing. Try not to jump ahead of myself on the agenda here. Everybody okay? So, make a motion to approve the minutes.
Yeah, I make the motion to approve the minutes.
Okay. I got a copy here for us all to sign. Then I'll scan this in and send it to Stacy so I have an official record. So, any additions to the agenda that anybody wants to make, or anything we need to discuss on the agenda? If not, I was talking to Mayor Amick about the Tree City signs. They found them. We're gonna get 2 more, but since they're gonna be on highway right
We
away.
actually bought them, so.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while before they get installed. It takes a couple months for the motion to, the wheel of the motion.
Dickie, do you ever get out to the old poorhouse out there? You ever get out there?
Periodic once in a while.
I just wondered if they got over there,
If they-
how they, I mean, we had 2 nice big signs here.
Oh.
And
I see Chris once in a while.
I didn't know. So,
You think they might have put in that storage?
I don't know, I just wondered, you know, we've actually cleaned out all of, where City Hall was at, they weren't there.
Yeah.
I don't know what,
I can check with somebody.
yeah,
out there.
it'd be great, thank you.
Sure.
Oh, by the way, Brad, Monty and Randy could not make it tonight. They had other things come up. The Tree City USA status, I think we mentioned last time, we got Tree City status for last year. Thanks to Melvina pulling some strings. We'll make sure that doesn't fall through the cracks this fall. The memorial tree planting pamphlet, I was gonna try to get some of those printed out for Friday, but we're kind of behind the 8 ball right now, so maybe do that later. I did meet with somebody about some memorial trees. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. The biggest thing we got on our agenda for tonight is the finalizing our Arbor Day event. I got the city's credit card from the mayor. I'm gonna go down and get the tree at Walnut Ridge because Redeker didn't have anything that we wanted available. So I'll probably they got some nice Shumard oaks down there, which get about 60 feet tall, mature, bright red in the fall. And they're in like I think a 7-gallon pot, so they won't break our backs trying to handle them. They had some swamp white oaks and some bur oaks. The bur oak was like a 2 3/4 inch caliper, and it looks awful heavy.
Yeah.
I figured we'll save that for another day. We only have one, so. The Shumard oaks are really nice looking. They also got some willow oaks that are really nice looking. I chose the Shumard because it's more of a native in Indiana. The willow oak just bumps up in Kentucky a little bit. The hole's dug, the extra dirt's been moved. The planting site is next to the car barn shelter. You go past the little ditch where the footbridge is, you go back in that parking lot, and then if you look off to the west, you'll see a place where there used to be an ash tree that got knocked out by Emerald ash borer. They got the hole dug today, I guess, got the dirt moved. The mulch is down there. We should have some stakes somewhere that we pulled up from other trees. And did you hear back from Monty on the grill?
He said it worked.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go to the park department because we need to get their cooler. I said Jim didn't get ice from Austin's liquor store up there. And we need some tables put out there. And so I'll go, I'm off tomorrow, so I'm gonna go over and talk to them and kind of coordinate.
Does the city have tables that we could set up down there, like the
Yeah, should have.
plastic
Those
white
white
tables, white tables?
You are down at Lake Iowa.
Yeah, because I think we got some for the fishing contest. We took them out of the.
I thought there were some in
We're gonna have at least a couple of tables, for,
We need
The hot dog.
one 8-foot and 2 6-foot for sure.
yeah, maybe a few chairs or.
A few
we can
chairs.
put them
So,
back.
you guys gonna use the barn there?
No, we'll cook right up there.
Everybody
by the
could
creek.
out in the open, but I was telling Rick, everybody else got here, exposed to thunderstorm, so we may end up in there.
You might want to talk to the girls because right now, that's on a Friday. They may be having graduation. I mean, it's gonna close
Oh,
at
yeah.
that time as well.
I wasn't planning on using it, but if we're in a thunderstorm, we might need to take it out or something.
That's be fine. You just need to see the utility office.
Okay.
And all that.
Did you manage to get trees for us to give away?
I'm gonna go Friday morning, pick them up.
I'll give you some money on the button bush.
I'll go ahead and pick those up too.
How long will them trees last if we do have to postpone them? Do they have very little life?
You gotta keep them wet.
To see,
Well,
they're in the cooler at Bologna now. When I call them Friday morning, they'll pull them out of the cooler, put them on the dock. I'll pick them up off the dock. So they're in the dormant stage. So those trees should last. I wouldn't wait any longer than a week.
Yeah, because they're gonna be bare roots.
Yeah.
Wrapped in newspaper.
And they need to be kept in a cool, dark place and put water on them. If we have to postpone.
Well, hopefully we won't have to, but I would think of the worst first.
Yeah, it'd be kind of hard to
Better.
make changes now this close.
Yeah.
So, you know, I planted trees in the rain before, I guess it ain't going.
Well, we could post on the city website that if it does rain, they still come get their saplings.
Yeah, they still can get
That
started.
way,
And I don't know how many people expect, whether they'll have 10 or 100.
somebody was supposed to get a hold of the schools and then so they would.
I sent them messages, let them know that we were doing it.
Mhm.
Don't know if anybody's gonna show up or not.
No, we might need a shelter house down there for that, for the, pass out the trees and stuff and cook hot dogs or whatever we're
If
gonna
it's
do.
raining. Check with
But I think we put it on the website or the radio, whatever, let them know,
It's on the
hey, if it
website.
does rain,
It's on
come
the
down and get your saplings.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I were thinking on the website, I don't know about the trees, so.
If the weather does get bad, and I'm talking possibly dangerous bad, would we consider postponing it?
Yeah,
So
we need
it's
to do
safe?
something, safety reasons.
Absolutely, because if there's lightning in the air, you don't
Oh,
want,
yeah.
you don't want, you know,
You don't
kids
want
running
anybody
around
out.
or anything like
A
that.
horse might get hurt.
You know, and we would need to come up with a date. I would believe and have that, if it's on the website already, we could also have that added as well, just in case.
I went ahead and got 200.
So,
What would be an alternate date, you think?
could push it.
You don't want
back.
it first
Saturday's
May.
supposed to be nice.
That's
We could
Derby
push
Saturday.
it Just a
Better
day,
be
yeah.
the day.
That way we're not putting it out so
Yeah.
far and
Well,
that
my
way-
my concerns, like we were saying, the trees won't last if it's too far away.
yeah, and that's only one day, and I think we'd be fine
You'd be
with that.
fine.
They're in newspaper, and they're gonna be moist.
So do it Saturday, like Saturday morning or lunchtime, since we have hot dogs. So like what, 11 to 2, 11 to 1?
Yeah. I'd say, well, we're going 4 to 7 on this for Friday,
Mhm.
all right, so we go 11
11
to
to
2.
2.
Yeah. Does that work for you with the hot dogs and chips and if weather was,
It should, yeah, I think so.
yeah.
I
Okay.
might not plan until that Saturday evening,
Is that
so.
okay with you? Can you still make it?
What now?
If because of the weather, we have to postpone a day.
Yeah, I would be okay if there, I've got a meeting Friday at 6:00, so I'm probably got to show up at 4:00.
That's cool. If you can come and just read the proclamation, because
Yeah.
I can't, and that's you very well, right?
So what date are you talking about?
The 25th, Saturday.
Oh, okay, so if we have to skip Friday, we'll go. to
Yeah, if it's,
Okay.
like we were saying, if the weather gets really,
That's
really
fine with
bad.
me.
Yeah, if there's lightning in the area or something like that, push it just one day, I think that would be fine.
Yeah, that's cool with me.
I figured we, probably start off with a proclamation, maybe if you want to speak, or whatever you want to say. Sure. And do the proclamation, and then, we can do the tree planting and discuss a little bit about Arbor Day history and all that. I don't know how much time we're gonna have to fill, but I figured if we need to, we have talking points about, tree species selection and site selection, that kind of stuff. And I don't know what ages to expect, whether we'll have 6-year-olds or 60-year-olds or what, but, last time we had a pretty wide range of participants. Didn't have very many, but we had a wide range. Anything else you can think of for Friday?
No, not off the
Okay.
We need to get that on that website though.
Yeah, who would I-
If it is bad,
Is it Stacy or?
Stacy, yeah,
Stacy.
Stacy's good for you.
I need to ask a couple of questions.
Sure.
What time are you planning the cookout?
Well, we were gonna do the event on Friday,
Right,
weather permitting, from 4 to 7.
I know, but the
So-
cookout itself,
Uh,
that way, Rick kind of knows what, to get the grill going and stuff like that, have the food ready, have a timetable.
5:30.
5:30, okay.
somewhere along there. However long it takes you to cook, however many hot dogs we need.
Well, I don't want to interrupt, like you said, with proclamation and then your other stuff.
So
that you
probably
talked about stuff.
Between 5 and 5:30, we can
Okay, that's all
start
right.
serving.
And I know you don't have no idea, so
Well,
I planned on 40, so.
okay,
So we'll go from there. If it's more than that, I will always send somebody to JC's. We've
I have
done that
no
for you,
idea.
Rick.
Oh, yeah.
On the hook dog fishing, we've done that before.
no idea what.
I'll be there plenty of time, so we could, if the crowd does start to come, then I have to start early.
I'm guessing that if the forecast is for rain, it's probably gonna do it down a little. It's not gonna be
I
very-
don't know how Saturday's just not on.
Saturday's supposed to be,
I'll take a look at it and see what it's saying right now, time wise.
supposed to rain Friday afternoon through Friday night, and then Saturday's supposed to be nice. Last I looked,
So I'm gonna have relish ketchup and mustard too.
that's cool.
And
Yeah,
spoons.
I'd say that'd do it.
Oh, yeah. And then, those little small bags of chips.
Yeah.
And napkins and small plates. So,
We'll have to probably come up with some paperweights to hold everything down, paper plates and napkins and stuff.
But we get that.
Yeah, we're still, what, 3 days out, so, and that could change, it could shift.
oh yeah, see, that can happen.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd like to have a list down there so we can keep track of who all showed up.
Well, if we can get, what I would want to do is have a notepad out there for people to at least put their name down, because we can count the volunteer hours if they help plant the tree. And Melina said helping plant the tree could be the kid just walking by and helping us mulch on it by the handful or something. You know, they're pretty lenient on what they'll count the volunteer hours.
Well, we always talk during the thing about the memorial tree and stuff, because I've had a lot of people ask about that.
Yeah,
Once they realized we had a tree board.
I actually met with a lady in the new business section that I was gonna talk about.
Okay, I'm sorry, I skipped ahead.
That's okay. I was getting ahead of myself too.
I like that idea. If somebody, you're talking about an idea of possibly planting a tree in memory of somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, Melvina got some sample signs. You couldn't put them on the tree until it got a little bit bigger because the plaques are like
Yeah.
2x4.
Sure.
But once the tree gets some size to it, then you can either stainless steel nails with springs on to hold the plaque in there, or you can put a spring around the tree. The nails would be better than curl, possibility of curling the tree with a spring, but we talked about that a couple of years ago, over getting a plaque that you put on a stake, because those get knocked over.
Yeah,
and that
or run over, whatever, stolen.
And they can be expensive if you get the brass plaques and stuff like that, so. But we got a start on the brochure, and I was actually gonna try to get some printed off and hand out Friday, but like I said, we're kind of behind the 8 ball, so I haven't got all that done yet. But we can, right now, we still got Great Scott trees, and that's next on the agenda. We need to get some board members lined up to replace the people that retired, so that we got access to the money that's in, was it
Tree America, whatever.
Trees Indiana?
Trees,
or-
Indiana.
Trees Indiana.
Yeah.
Melvina said there was like maybe $1,500, $2,000 in there that we deposited over the years. And if somebody wants to do a memorial tree planting, they make the check out to Great Scott Trees. It goes in there, and that's where we buy the tree and the replacement tree if it dies and that kind of stuff. So we definitely want to get board. Like I think she said we need 3, and I don't know if anybody's thought about that anymore. I figure the next meeting we'll get back with Melvina and let her know. And,
Oh, who's gonna take it over?
that way we can keep our funding that we do have.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that goes back into the
Uniform,
general fund of the Trees Indiana place.
you don't want to do that.
I think she said there was between $1,500 and $2,000 in there, which will buy several trees.
Yeah, well,
Any other old business that I forgot about, didn't have on here that we need to talk about? I probably forgot something. I was reading through the minutes. Uh, Oh, yeah, Monty said they were gonna mark the trees that they removed on a map so we know
That'd be good.
where we have planting spots. Let's see. Yeah, Trees Indiana is the name of the agency. It's out of Fort Wayne. And they handle all the business end of the stuff. We don't have to worry about audits and accounting and all that. They take care of all that for us. Talked to the Scott County Herald about doing a press release for the event. They wanted like $150 for a half-paid ad or something.
Call,
like that.
call Cruz to look at it.
Yeah, I tried to get a hold of them and I sent them, they had an email address on our website and that got returned, so I'll try calling them tomorrow.
You got your number?
Got their website, it's on there.
At that radio station, it's right up there. 1053.
Yeah,
Is it?
they could announce it
Because
too.
they over the back fence, they have all that going on. That might be something that, because it's a community thing,
Yeah, they're good about doing
And they
that.
gotta do so much community service besides the,
mhm.
the thing to do for Christmas for the kids.
Oh, not Lake O, Beechwood Park, a little wetland area down there. Some of the seeds that we got last fall, I did scatter some of those down there, so
That's awesome.
hopefully the guys won't round up everything.
Is that wildflower?
We went down along the railroad and picked a bunch of native sedges and stuff like that, and there was some purple passion flower that had fruit all over the place. And then put some trumpet vine down there by the new riprap along the bridge. And I was telling Randy that it stays in that gravel or in the riprap, it won't climb anything. There's nothing to climb. It won't do anything except just mound up a little bit. If it gets out in the grass, I can just mow over it. That's what I do at home. I got it along the fence, and if it sprouts up out in the grass, I just mow it down. It stays clear.
Keep it contained.
And then we got, I don't know, there's probably 12 different kind of sedges that were growing along the railroad right away that would do good in that area. And cattails, native cattails, not the hybrid cattails, but the native ones. Rushes, got some rush seeds put in there. I don't know if any of it's gonna come up. They'll have to kind of fight it out amongst themselves, who's gonna dominate the area. Button bush, we got some button bush fruit and planted some of that down there too. And lots of cattails. I was covered in cattail buds. But all that's done. I figured if we have any of the button bush left over and some of the choke cherry left over, we could probably plant some of that down there as well. If there's any left. There's a lot of unstable bank along that drainage all the way through Beechwood where it's washed out and bare dirt and it's eroding away, especially that section between Bond Street and Railroad Street.
Yeah, that's really good.
Gonna try to get something there to stabilize.
That'll help with the erosion control.
Beechwood is the oldest park Scottsburg has. And, but I want to let this board know as well that basically one of my visions for Scottsburg was to, it's going to sound crazy, I know, but at the interurban, where we had, where the interurban car is at now, there was a corn factory there. And I tore down all of the warehousing. That was probably, if you take the area that they canned the corn, it was probably 2 to 3 times that size. It was massive. So we took all that out, but I saved that. That's 40,000 square feet. And whether we try to put roof on it and have an open air, or we just try to put a roof on it, put windows and doors back into it. I'm wanting to have that be part of the park. And with that said, I see the trees kind of coming all, I mean, I've got the city has a lot of property there. Yeah. And, but there's an area there that I'm looking for a pool. So I've got a lot of things I want to try to do in that area. So that would be an area I would think as well, that would hunger for.
Yeah, I think a nice pavilion, open air pavilion or something like that.
So just give you ideas what's going on. We have been able to turn our face to the parks. We have a lot of infrastructure to do, but we have basically Lindsey Graham up and going, and they've got indoor batting for the super pool house. We also have we put a lot of money in Beechwood as well. So I've got baseball and basketball, got highlighting this. So I want you to know what's going on over by Lake Iowa as well, because to me that's probably, if I'm trying to point what's one of the biggest assets in Scottsburg, it's that lake. It's an inner city lake.
Yeah.
And it starts about a 7.2 mile walk. And there was the idea of trying to complete that walk and would go over to Beechwood, down Elm Street, and then on over to, then back to, on down Broad Street, on back down to Lake Oak. So you have 14 minutes.
Yeah.
So there's things like that.
Anything else under old business? New business, we had an inquiry about a memorial tree, the one I was mentioning to you earlier, from Yvonne Satow. I met with her a couple Saturdays back down at Lake Iowa. She wants to plant a tree for her late husband's memorial, and I gave her a species list, the one I gave you recently, plus another one I found, and told her that if it's not on that list, that doesn't mean we can't plant it. We can talk about it. Just let me know what she wants to do. And explain to her that a lot of it's going to do with you have what you want and you have a planting site and you got to make those compatible. And then what you want, you got to find. So just because you want it, don't mean you're going to get it. And nurseries don't have everything.
That's true.
And she's going to get back to me on that. She's probably going to be there Friday if the weather holds out. She was talking about coming to the Arbor Day thing, the Arbor Day event. That's the only other new business I had on the list. Is there anything else that we need to discuss?
I've got a lot of interest in the memorial tree. Everybody, they didn't know we even had them.
Yeah.
And even the classes could say, they created for class, for our lost classmates. And so I think we're going to get a lot of business with these trees because people just don't realize you can do that.
Well, it's like you said, they don't even know we have a tree board.
Well, yeah, I tell them,
Yeah,
even the city council kind of laughed at we got a tree board.
And
Yeah, we
Yeah,
do.
that's-
we presented to the city council.
Yeah.
I found that out too, a couple of them didn't know that we had a tree board.
But I think, yeah, we get that and publicize all this information because most people, well, I know my family, we appreciate the trees. I make sure we go to the graveyard, we swing by and look at the trees, and it's very emotional for us because they're growing and our kids aren't gone, they just kind of sprouting. And so for us personally, it's a blessing. Because we're right there on the corner, we come down, go across the bridge, and there's our trees. Because my kids spent a lot of time at Beechwood because we've been the softball league down there forever and ever. They thought we owned Beechwood forever. We load the bikes up on the weekend and we go on Sundays and play ball down there. That's what we did. And that's why I chose that spot right there because of my family and kids and our involvement down there at the park. But I think we put it out right. People will be lined up with trees.
Well, that's one of the reasons I wanted to try to get some pamphlets printed out. But then we're not ready to take money yet because we don't have anything set up for Grace Cut Trees. So we got to make sure we don't get the cart ahead of the horse and a bunch of people write us checks for trees. We don't have a place to put it because the city can't take it. So we have to have the fund to put it in
But we get started, we can get an interview or something from one of the TV stations or the newspaper, and put it in there and say, look, Scottsburg now has, the tree board is now, you know, we want trees, we want people
Do you
to,
want to do the interview? Because he was asking me to do one, and I said, I can't talk very clear right now.
Can we put it on the website?
That's what we were discussing is.
That would be the easiest way.
You've
to
seen
do
the
it, and
interview-
then
have you seen
people
the
can just
interviews they've done?
Download it, and they've got it.
They did one for, I guess it was the street department, the sanitation department. I forget what other.
We're going through all of them.
Okay.
They're doing all of them.
Garbage guy.
And they're really good, you know, what, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and they're really informative.
And you could, not interrupting here, but you could mention to the alumni banquets, that's getting ready to come up, to alumni, classes.
Yeah, there was actually-
Trees and stuff like that.
I think there were 2 trees that have since been cut down at Lake Iowa that died, that were planted by the high school alumni or something like that in memory of somebody. I think one of them was right there on the causeway where it goes across the lake, divides it in half.
Mhm.
On the south side, there was a bench and a tree, and I think that may have been a memorial from the alumni, I think, I'm not sure. But it died, and it could have just been adopted as a memorial.
Blake Burns' daughter did that.
Okay,
And in memory, if you're talking about the south side by that causeway, that was from Blake Burns.
Okay.
And you'll see his name written on one of those
Yeah,
steel
yeah.
chairs there.
Chairs.
And he was the one that I think that put that causeway in. And,
I think there were a couple of memorial trees down there at the dog park too, I believe. I think I remember
Yeah,
seeing.
there is, they're on the south side.
yeah.
I think we might have lost a couple of them, but we'll address that probably this fall, maybe. Try to get some trees planted. To replace them, if we get everything set up.
No, about a year ago, when we were discussing developing that wetland area between
Yeah.
southbound that goes across there. We mentioned at that time to make a path that went across, but make it natural and not like concreted or something like that. That could become, we could integrate both of these projects together. That could become a memorial pathway
Yeah.
with trees and
We can make it natural looking too. We talked about this. It could either be like what the Forest Service uses, they have crushed limestone, real fine. And I've seen it done that way. And then DuPage County up near Chicago, when I worked up there, they use mulch for a lot of theirs. And so it looks natural when you're walking, especially if it's mulch, and if it washes away, you just put more mulch down.
that the trees would be.
Yeah. And there's a lot of neat spots down that area between the cemetery and the softball fields.
Yeah.
We were talking about going through there and having a meandering path with maybe a couple benches and maybe a bridge across the drainage or something like that. So yeah, that could be part of the trail system too, just a little short spur.
Absolutely.
We still got a lot of trees we need to trim down there.
Yeah, that's what Randy said today. Randy.
Yeah, we went out, was it October? You and I went
Yeah, I
down
think
there
it
and
was
spent about
October,
4
November.
hours pruning and trimming, and I don't even think we made a dent really, but we got a little bit done.
when we get some of these organizations, goals, to adopt a tree or a certain area.
Yeah.
You know, and have them like that. I know on the square, on them corners, they were all sponsored by different, Moose Lodge had one, I don't remember whoever. So we have to go over there every year. I don't know if they're even still doing that. But there's no reason why somebody, you know, a church or an organization or something could, you know, just say, hey, or they see what, you know, picking up garbage, get done by so-and-so, or, you know. People like to see their names in papers, so I think, you know, this would be a good way.
Like
Get
you
the
said,
kids when they're young, you know, and help with their grandparents and stuff. And maybe it might be a long life thing where they want to do it their whole lives.
Even with what you just mentioned, adopt a tree, you know,
Mhm.
you have a monetary amount, you want to adopt a tree in one of the parks, then that money can go into a fund that can be utilized for the maintaining
Yeah.
or, you know, replanting or whatever we would need.
We talked about a lot of this back in 99 and 2000 when the management plan came about. We're trying to set up something like that, to where they could have a line item in the budget set up for tree maintenance.
Mhm.
And it doesn't have to be, $100,000. You start out with $100 and then build on it every year. And then if we had at least a line item in the budget, then we'd have a starting point. And the only problem we ran into is at the time the city got a couple grants and that funded everything. Well, then they applied for another grant and they didn't get it. So everything died. Because there was no line item in the budget and there was no funding set aside for anything. So all the work that was done for the tree inventory and the management plan just died where it was. And the problem we ran into doing that, and I mentioned this to Mayor Graham several times, is they had me do the tree inventory. So I went out and did 100% tree inventory on city property, and including all the parks and everything. Identified the problem species, the trees that were dangerous or had dead wood in them or whatever, and actually had them identified to an address. We didn't have GPS because I was a sole contractor. I couldn't afford, the triple units and all that stuff. But we did an address system, and then on the park trees, I did an aerial photo. I got a big aerial photo like Beechwood, and I got another one like Owl, and digitized those in AutoCAD and made a map and identified the needs of each tree and what was wrong with it and whether it was in good shape or bad shape rating, health-wise. Well, you identified all those hazards and you're starting a process now, and then all of a sudden you stop. So your liability used to be, kind of here, and then you started addressing that. So your liability maybe went down a little bit and you just quit. So then your liability goes exponentially high. Because now you've identified the tree that might kill grandma when she's walking down the sidewalk, and you chose to do nothing about it. That's negligence on the part of the
It
city.
is, right.
And that's what we ran into back in 2000. So that's something we can work on.
Be awesome.
I know there's, no magic account that we can pull $100,000 out of or anything, but that might be something for the city council to discuss, maybe get a line on it. We mentioned that when we did the briefing, was that 3 years ago? You and I just got on the tree board, and we had to address the city council and apprise them of what we've been doing, and we brought that up, and it was not well received.
Well, they have a budget item. I mean, they can, I don't think you use it very much. So, I mean, there's a way there to get somebody.
And like I said, it doesn't have to be an extravagant amount to start with. If we just get a couple $100 in there that we can.
Probably, I think that's about $30,000. You could almost give them $10,000.
Well, that would have been 3 years ago when we got on the city council. We were definitely like deers. Headlights were all over us. We were nervous, and now we've been there now for 3 years. So I think we're better now. We just had to learn. All that experience retired, and then all new people came on, and it was like, wow. But
Well, that was like when DK and I got on the tree board, and because I did the management plan back in 2000, Lena wanted me to do the presentation on the tree inventory and all that stuff. I was like nervous wreck because I'm telling them all these liability issues they didn't know about, but now they know about. So we don't drag this on. I don't want to waste anybody's time. Is there anything else any new business, any other matters that we need to talk about that I have forgotten about or overlooked? Do you have anything?
Now, I have a couple stories for you on Arbor Day. So I got a couple stories for there. So maybe we'll see you there. So I'm planning on trying to come 4:30.
Okay.
Probably something like that. It's been an hour or two with you.
Okay.
Hour and a half, something like that. And
Have we checked the area where that's gonna be at, just to make sure there's no hanging limbs, anything like that?
It's a wide open space.
Okay.
That ash tree.
I'm just thinking where people are gonna start coming in from though.
Well, there's a parking lot next to the Interurban car, and then there's another parking lot next to the shelter house. And then there's several other scattered parking areas around the lake. And
There's plenty of parking.
There's, probably 20 spaces on the north side of the lake. It's not very far at all. The tree planting site is, if you go down to Lake Iowa, and like I said, you go past the interurban card, you go across the drainage, and you go up into the parking lot, and you look to the west, there's a mound of dirt where they dug the hole. And there used to be, I think it was a ash tree, and it was like this big around, and EAB got it, and they cut it down a few years ago. And that's how I actually told Randy about the site, because I thought the stump was still there, but he's gonna have to have the stump ground out because it was big. But they took care of that already. They cut a lot of dead trees down at the lake that have succumbed to EAV, mostly ash trees. Unfortunately, a lot of them have come down. But that site's wide open for a large growing species like I was wanting to get a bur oak, but like I said, the only one I found down there at Walnut Ridge was like this big caliper.
Yeah, that was a 600-700 pound root
Tearing
ball.
herself up.
One thing, I just now thought of, you said 200. You get a little tree. Are you gonna need tables, put those little trees on, or you gonna just put them in a truck? You come get it out the back of the pickup truck?
We could put them even in a 5-gallon bucket.
Okay, I'm just, where people get to them, so.
Yeah, we should be okay. Just have them in a bucket or a box. We could even probably set them on the deck at the urban car. Because they're gonna be wrapped up, they'll be okay there. Even set them under the deck in the shade, keep out the sun if it is sun. Yeah, everything's ready to go down there. Like I said, the hole's dug, the dirt's down there, the mulch is there. Bring your favorite shovel. I'll bring like some wire cutters and nips and stuff like that if we need to do anything. I don't think there's gonna be anything we have to mess with. Randy said the only utilities that he knew of, they had locates done. He said there's a water line that runs over to one of the fountains, but it's not anywhere where it's not gonna be where that tree set. So I'm pretty comfortable saying there's nothing there, but they did have locates done. So we're good to go. Well, if there's nothing else to discuss,
Do have one question.
Sure.
And with the memorial program and the species that we've given out, that you've got, have we checked with nurseries for availabilities, things of that sort?
well, so far, that's been on a case-by-case basis. Somebody tells me what they want, and I try to find out if anybody around has it. So far, the local nursery that I'm dealing with is Redeker Ridge up north of
Yeah, I
Austin.
know you had mentioned that.
I used to order stuff and buy stuff up at Whiteland, Indiana. That was 30 years ago when they'd gone out of business. They had hundred acres.
Off the Sumo, the Snyder's out there, because I have a relationship with them.
I haven't purchased anything there. I think Molina maybe got a tree there once or twice. And also we had, where was that place we got the tree, the birch from? It was up by, like towards Plainfield, Indiana. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. We got actually history with them, but it's a long drive.
That's about, west side of Indy.
Can't remember.
But I'd be more than happy to call Snyder and talk to them and see if, they could provide us some pricing. Because
Sure.
they start doing their digs on most of their species in the fall. Some of them are latter fall, but, that way. And do we want to have a designated planting time instead of, well, got an order, let's jump on this now?
I usually tell people that I talk to that after Labor Day.
Yeah.
And depending on the species, like black gum, for example, is best transplanted in like January, February,
Mhm.
when it's completely dormant. It's almost to the point where if you can dig through the frozen soil, it's okay to plant a black gum. Basically, anytime you can dig in the wintertime, you're good. I was telling Yvonne the other day that I met with her, I said, general rule of thumb is plant trees between Labor Day and no later than Memorial Day, and then do not plant between Memorial Day and Labor Day. And past experience with the administrations in the past, they found out the hard way that that's a good rule of thumb, because they planted swamp white oak in July and lost all but like one of them.
Say about 80-90%.
They were not happy to hear that news when I told them they were all gonna die.
There were many ways to do it.
Well, I got one more thing real quick. I want to thank James Coomer for stepping
Yeah.
forward for our
Appreciate it.
stuff. I want to thank the mayor for supporting the tree board here. We've had some many great ideas up here, and now it's just, we got to put them in the blank. So I'm very excited. We're going to actually have something on Arbor Day. Hope the weather, if not, we'll do it on Saturday. We'll just,
And I'll get a hold of Stacy tomorrow.
okay. And I know, given your time, it's kind of hard to do sometimes. We all have full life. Most of us do, I think so. And most of them still working. But I just want to thank everybody for coming in here and helping out whenever you can.
I want to thank everybody as well. Thank you very much.
Just like city council meetings, I always have to have the last say so, right, Mayor?
One
Well, motherfucker, I got something.
more thing.
Well, I'm consistent, but
How many of those, flyers, if you wanna call them that, for the memorial trees you need printed off? What were you-
Well, I was thinking about getting like 100 to start with.
Uh-huh.
Shoot, what's the name on the square?
J.C. Printing, Pam?
Yeah,
Just, my love.
yeah, just they have 11, just a trifold, something like that. The one the draft that you made.
Yeah.
We need to change one item in there. If they write a check, it needs to go to Great Scott Trees, not the city of Scottsburg.
Okay, I can
Because
do that, cause I've got
yeah,
that
the
saved.
city can't take donations.
Okay.
And, like
Could
I
we
said,
open up an account in the name of the Scottsburg Tree?
Well,
Board? You know,
Melina's,
at a
we
bank?
talked about that I talked to Melina about that. And the only problem, if we have an account for the tree board, then that opens up a can of worms as far as accounting and audits and all that kind of
Work
stuff.
counts, all that.
Whereas Trees Indiana
They
is
take care of it all.
our parent, for Great Scott Trees is the parent organization that takes care of all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about bookkeeping or anything. Just, you want to get reimbursed for a purchase, you send them a receipt. The three of us that are officers for Great Scott Trees sign off that it's legit, and they send a check to the person that made the
I like
purchase.
that's,
And it's a tax-free 501(c)(3), tax exempt, we don't have to worry about it.
okay.
And I don't need any bookkeeping duties to go along with this. This is easy enough.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second that.
All righty, it is.
Well,
6:18.
thank you. We hope to see you on Friday.
We're adjourned.
Sure, see you. Good to see you.
Thanks for stopping by, Mayor.
What'd you say?
Thank you for stopping by.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
I'll try not to back